Well, okay, YouTube, this is Muskie Dan and the adventures with his Kubota tractor. What I want to do here today, I'm up here in the wood cutting area. I want to check the RPM of my saw here. It's about a year old and I used it off and on a few times, but I got this RPM tester and I want to see what the RPMs of it is at high speed. You don't want to go too fast at the high speed. You'll blow up the motor, obviously. So I just want to check it. Maybe I can tweak a little more out of it, or probably just leave it as is. So, right there's the old Kubota. We are doing some firewood processing today. In one of my other videos, my last video, I actually went to a guy's house and I harvested the tree for him. He had a logger come and cut it down, but we had to haul away all these big chunks. And it's a win-win because he gets a cheaper price on the arborist coming cutting his trees, and I get the benefit of pretty much free firewood. I load it with the grapple hook or grapple bucket and I dump it here. And I will be using the grappling bucket to actually load these big dogs. These are heavy. I mean, this is probably, well, let me get the tape measure. I mean, the narrow side is 30 inches on the wide side. Some of these, and I like to go 24 inches. These are at 20, or this one's at 20. The arborist cut it a little bit short for me, but actually, the Kubota with the BX had a hard time picking some of these up, so we had to actually slice some of them down the sides or down the middle of them, and I'll show you that picture. Now these have been sitting here for 2 weeks, but as you can see, this one here, we had to cut it down that way and then slice another hack down that side of it, just so that the Kubota was actually strong enough to pick it up. Some of them are pretty wet. This one here, this is actually 36 across by about 28, 29, so you cannot handle these by hand. So I used the hydraulics on the Kubota to do that. That was my last video. I had that I was loading up the day before, and it was actually 2 trailers of that black trailer I have of wood. So I don't know if this is going to be a real interesting video, but that's what I do, you know. So that's a little tachometer. The way you check the RPM of these saws is you wrap this wire around that saw. And I don't know if I'll be able to, let's see if I get me in there and everybody if you really want to look at me. So I keep the instructions in the bag because otherwise that's gone. And it says to wrap this wire around here 2 or 3 times. 1, 2, 3. I kind of wedge it under and I keep that a little bit away. Now this is a 070 saw by Steel. She's a big one. It's a 36-inch bar, and the chain on it is a 404. Well, what does it say? get stamped on here. Yeah, it's a 404 chain. What's the biggest chain they make? So we'll choke it, see if she'll fire up. Out at 8,500 RPMs. I think max, I'd have to do the paperwork and check it out, but I think on this saw I'm looking for 9,000 RPMs. I guess I'm just going to leave it for now and do some research. I probably won't adjust the carburetor for 500 RPMs. This is Muskie Dan. Just trying to make the world a better place to be.